Hey guys, this is Bailey Stein with Android Authority, and today we'll be checking out the Xiaomi Mi Max 2. Just a quick note, although I have prepared this video, my colleague Abhishek Baxi has done much of the testing as well as the written post, linked below. And with that out of the way, let's talk about this phone. If you recall last year's Xiaomi Mi Max, this is really only a minor upgrade from that. The design isn't all that different, the MIUI software hasn't changed much, and yeah, it's still ludicrously large with a 6.44-inch 1080p LCD display. The display itself is really just kind of mediocre. Color reproduction is okay, and it's coated in Gorilla Glass 3, but viewing angles are disappointing, and both Abhishek and I had issues with auto brightness. We certainly understand Xiaomi's need to keep costs down, but we would have liked to see a better display given how critical it is to the content-consuming audience that this phone is aimed towards. As you would expect, a large display also means a large body. The overall design is quite nice though. The premium metal build looks good, and the build quality is better than the originals. The now curved side edges also help a bit with handling. Not to the point of being able to get away with one-handed use, but there is a built-in mode for that if you need it. Of course, there's no built-in mode to make the fingerprint reader easier to reach. We found its placement to be a tad unfortunate, but are happy with the reader's accuracy. Although the Mi Max 2 is fairly slim at 7.6mm, it's certainly on the heavier side at 211 grams. That's because it's packing a massive 5,300 mAh battery. As you may have guessed, this allows the Mi Max 2 to offer some incredible battery life, even with heavy use. Charging times are pretty good too. The now included Quick Charge 3.0 charger enables charging from 0 to 100% in about 2 hours. You may also use the Mi Max 2 as a power bank if you'd like to charge another device. You shouldn't need to carry around two phones though, as the Mi Max 2 supports dual SIM cards. Don't plan on using it in the United States though, as it's not compatible with LTE at all actually, and it's only partially compatible with 3G. If you don't need two SIM cards, you can expand the storage with a microSD card if the 64GB of internal storage isn't enough. Media lovers will also enjoy the phone's stereo speaker setup. Audio is loud and, importantly, sounds full with little distortion. And yes, there's still a headphone jack. There's an IR blaster too for controlling TVs and other appliances. There's unfortunately no NFC on board, so while the Mi Max 2 has Google's blessing to run Android Pay, you can't use it in stores. The overall global software experience is pretty good. It ships with MIUI 8.5 over Android 7.1.1 Nougat, which is nice. We appreciate MIUI's design as well as its features and customizability. The dual apps feature, for example, lets you run two instances of the same app. It's a cool concept, but we had trouble getting it to work with Snapchat, which is really the only app that we wanted it for. By the way, if you aren't already following us on Snapchat, now's your chance. Okay, let's move on. MIUI also seems pretty well optimized, as day-to-day performance was alright despite the mid-range Snapdragon 625. We're sure the 4GB of RAM helps to keep the performance smooth as well. You should be happy with this setup, just don't expect it to compete with flagships. The same goes for the camera. It's 12 megapixels with an f2.2 aperture, and it's quite frankly just okay. Color reproduction is good, but images came out soft, especially around the corners. The biggest issue that we noticed was poor dynamic range. As you can see, you can either get the highlights or the shadows, but not both. HDR helps, but it's not the ideal solution. Unfortunately, when taking the phone into low light conditions, it turns into a potato. Not literally, of course, but images do come out really soft and really noisy. I don't think I need to say much more. So, how much will the Mi Max 2 set you back? Well, it depends on where you live, but you can expect anywhere from $250 to $275. That's impressively competitive for a segment with little competition. Perhaps the best use case for this phone is as a power bank with smartphone features built in. The Mi Max 2 is great for binge-watching Netflix, and its large battery could certainly come in handy. But its large size and general mediocrity make it difficult to use day to day. That's not to say that this phone doesn't have an audience, but rather that you should consider carefully whether this phone is right for you. And that will be all for this video. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, be sure to subscribe, and hit that bell button to get notified when we release new videos. Also, be sure to check out the Android Authority website, as we are your source for all things Android.